Guys, I got no sleep last night. Like, no sleep. Maybe 3 hours sleep or something like that. And so I woke up this morning in such a mega grump. Like, I already did not want this day to happen. I was already regretting the day. I was lying in bed feeling all closed up and like, I'm just gonna have a massive coffee. It's gonna be the only way. Hey look, giant pumpkin. Giant pumpkin! It is actually a giant pumpkin. It's not a pumpkin, it's massive. A giant pumpkin seed because we're entering a giant pumpkin competition. Yeah, so anyway, terrible night, terrible morning, and what I thought was going to be a terrible day. And then something within me was just like, get up, go to the bush. So I got up and I climbed into the forest. That's where I'm taking you now. And I just had a bit of time there to remember who I was and remember what I am and to recall what the point of being alive is. And it was amazing. I had some super cool experiences lately that just keep on reminding me that the sole purpose of our life is to basically breathe out love and breathe in love, to breathe out service and breathe in abundance, to breathe out our gifts, send our gifts out there and receive the gifts of the universe in return. So this is one of the little nooks in our forest that I love to come to. When you come here at night, this whole place is alive with glowworms. There's a little stream down there. A few weeks ago I went to a festival on the South Island of New Zealand. I went by myself, leaving my kids and husband Tim at an unschooling camp. And I kind of went because everything just fell really easily into place for me to go, very, very last minute. And I was in this moment where I was feeling like I just want to let go of control and just see what happens. And it was a massive letting go of control, of just being like, I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I trust I'm going to end up there. And it all just worked out beautifully. But when I got to this festival, I massively missed my people. So I was there with friends that they kind of had their own families and, you know, we're going to like different workshops and things. So that first day I was spending quite a lot of time just by myself at workshops, and I really, really missed Tim and the girls. And I realized how kind of fundamental they are sort of to my sense of worth or value. Like when I go to events, usually I've got them with me. They're like my people. It's like an assurance that I must not be a really terrible person because this guy and these kids, they want to hang out with me. And I felt quite bereft that first day, despite being surrounded by lovely friends and lovely, lovely strangers. And then the next morning I woke up really early and did breathwork, which is this thing where you pretty much just literally breathe. And it was run by this bloke called Ian, who's a builder. And I was a little bit like, I don't know if this is really going to work for me, even though I've wanted to do it for a while. But we all lay down and he just got us breathing. And he sort of had a bit of a mantra, which was breathe in Gaia, the earth, breathe out love. And it was the most amazing experience. I went in there really quite cynical, feeling really quite lonely and bereft. And just simply breathing in with that mantra for about 40 minutes made me have this really visceral understanding that all of these strangers, these are my people. And the earth, this is my community. It was almost psychedelic, like I could actually feel myself really being a part of the earth. And it was emotional, like I was sobbing with the knowledge that even though everyone around me is a stranger, in a way they're totally not, because we're all one, which is super cheesy. It's really hard to say that and not be a little bit eye-rolly. But it's absolutely true that every one of us is basically just one expression of a whole. And since having that experience, I've just found it so easy to step into this openness, to step into this wholehearted trust and joy. I've written about this quite a lot and have made it my aim in the last few years, but at the moment it feels like I'm having a really embodied experience of it. And I keep on just going, well, I can't control that. I'm just going to have to let it go. And then things unfold in a really amazing way. It's like I had a bit of a dilemma with our family, like some big decisions with our kids had to be made. And I was in a dilemma for like a couple of days this weekend, and then right at exactly the right moment, just had an amazing conversation with a friend that just helped sift the thoughts in my head, that allowed me to come to an alignment, a decision that was absolutely aligned with my whole body. And that might seem like a really minor example, and it is a really minor example. But when you live really open-heartedly, I think you just have loads and loads of those moments. So instead of spending weeks in agony about decisions, you might spend much less time because you're going to have a very timely conversation that will help you, or something will get you out of that fug. Just very recently we had another one where we're trying to rent our yurts out because we're going home to the UK for a couple of months, and to America. I've probably mentioned that a couple of times. We're going in like 4 weeks, and about 4 or 5 weeks ago we were like, oh yeah, we were going to rent out our yurts, we should get onto that. And then we had all these Skype calls, like loads of people were really interested, and then it kept on falling through, and it got to the point where Tim was like, it's just too hard work, there's no one going to do it. And I was like, Tim, exactly the right people are just around the corner. And then the next day, this Canadian family emailed who had been living in New Zealand. And just as I read the email, I was literally just like, oh yeah, these are the ones. And then they came over last night to meet us and see our yurts. And we had a little adventure with them. And they've got a boy the same age as the family we share land with here. And these beautiful teenage girls. And they're just the most amazing family. And the whole few hours we spent with them was just like this reverberating, yeah, these are the people. And it just had like a real tint of magic to the whole thing, a real just like trust that the right people will come along at the right time, and then it did. Now, I've got so much to say about the whole, is this just positive thinking or whatever? And I actually think it's really different, because I think has to be like a detachment to what could happen, rather than like it's all going to be positive in exactly the way I imagine. And I also don't think that only good things happen if you are thinking this way. Like, I actually think part of the magic is feeling everything. I think, you know, we are meant to have, we can expect these beautiful magical joys, but also we can understand that we're going to have grief and sadness, and that part of the honor of being human is to feel all of these things. I've been thinking heaps about abundance as well lately, just feeling like a lot of people who are in this world of sort of self-help or abundance or whatever can get really hung up on the wealth aspect of abundance, and I think that's got very little to do with it, so little to do with it. It's not about money, it's not about making more money. In fact, I think the less attached to money we can be, the better. Because then you have way more opportunities to see all the other kind of abundance, the friendship and the love, the beauty from strangers, help and support from places you least expect it. And I tend to think that actually, like, the wealthier you are and the more you depend on being very wealthy, like, the less chance, the less room there is for that kind of miraculous magic to happen. Yeah, so that's been kind of cool. I think I can hear the kids. It's very early. After having this revelation and getting out of bed and then deciding that actually I was going to have a freaking awesome day despite only having 2 hours sleep, I just kind of like wanted to make this video and share it with you. But now I can hear my kids. They're like, Mummy, I want some Cocoa Pops. So I better go and do that. I saw this super cool quote on a friend's website this week, and it said, stop what you're doing and be who you're being. And I love that. We don't need to strive and hunger and act and be busy. We can literally just be who we are. Just breathe in Gaia and breathe out love. That's our main job. Yay. Going to pose outside the caravan to say you can keep in touch with me on Patreon, link below, or Lulastic. I've still got a couple of places for my retreats that are happening in the UK and America and New Zealand, so I'll put a link below for those. And wherever you are in the world, stay radical. Mwah.